Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all for joining. So today we will continue our discussion on pure bhakti, understanding pure bhakti. Today is part 2. So we have been discussing from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The English name is The Nectar of Devotion by Srila Rupa Goswami. He is authority of pure bhakti. So we are reading from that book. So with that, let us seek the prayers of our Guru Parampara so that we can understand this subject better. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam. So I'm going to skip the summary of yesterday's class due to limited time we have today. So let's start with Rupa Goswami's definition of pure bhakti or uttama bhakti. So we went through the verse Anyabilashita Sunyam Jnana Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyana Krishnanu Silanam Bhakti Uttama. That Prabhupada's translation is, when first class devotional service develops, one must be devoid of all material desires, a knowledge obtained by monastic philosophy, and a fruitive action. The devotee must constantly serve Krishna favorably as Krishna desires. So that's the beautiful translation of that verse. So towards the end of yesterday's class, Srila Rupa Goswami, we discussed, Srila Rupa Goswami says that this definition of pure bhakti, uttama bhakti, includes 3 types of bhaktis: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So this pure bhakti has 3 forms, to put it like that: sadhana bhakti, bhava bhakti, and prema bhakti. So usually we see these are stages of bhakti. So I want to give a quick definition of these 3 bhaktis, then we can discuss. So what is sadhana bhakti? So sadhana bhakti, it means the activities which uses our senses and mind that leads to spiritual love for Krishna, that leads to bhava. Bhava means the spiritual emotions for Krishna, spiritual love for Krishna is called sadhana bhakti. So bhava is the beginning stages of pure love. So sadhana bhakti means we are engaged in activities using our senses and mind which will lead to bhava. Then what is bhava bhakti? Bhava bhakti is the first stage of manifestation of pure love for Krishna, the pure emotions, spiritual emotions for the Lord. The first stage. So what happens is when devotees, after perfecting sadhana bhakti, they will come to bhava bhakti, their heart becomes soft. It's very soft, and it starts to develop a love for Krishna. So that is bhava bhakti. I will share a little bit about bhava bhakti and sadhana bhakti later in the session. So then what is prema bhakti? So prema bhakti is when pure love for Krishna deepens to the maximum level. And what happens is it softens the heart of the devotee completely and makes him or her exceedingly attached to Krishna. Exceedingly. And this is called prema bhakti. This is the highest perfection of bhakti, where you realize Krishna and you constantly in touch with him, you constantly see him also. That's prema bhakti, the highest point of bhakti. So generally we start in sadhana. We start in sadhana, then we go to bhava, then we go to prema bhakti. However, there are cases, very rare cases, one can immediately have bhava or prema also. So they are not always stages in that sense. So because of that, there are different types of bhakti. So we see that sadhana is included in pure bhakti. So how can one go immediately to bhava? That is because in the previous life they have practiced sadhana bhakti so sincerely. Because of some imperfection, they have to take birth again and they start with the bhava. So the classic example is Jada Bharata. Like that kind of a stage. So sadhana bhakti is little different because bhava and prema bhakti are all about the love for God. Bhava is the beginning stages of love for Krishna, And Prema Bhakti is a perfectional stage of love for Krishna. But Sadhana Bhakti is still, we are using our material senses to develop love for Krishna. So in that way, Sadhana Bhakti is a little different, because we are using our material senses. So Bhava means, as I said, when we experience spiritual emotions, we experience Krishna. So in Bhava stage, you see the Lord, but not constantly. You see him. That's called Bhava. So what is the connection? So between Sadhana Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti, idea of Sadhana Bhakti is that we engage our senses in the service of Krishna with the aim of achieving the relationship with Krishna. Because in Bhava, you develop a loving relationship. You start to develop a loving relationship with Krishna. So one very important philosophical point we all have to understand to see the connection between Sadhana Bhakti and Bhava Bhakti. Because the philosophical point is that the bhakti cannot be created. It has to manifest. Why? Can anybody answer? Why bhakti cannot be created?
Because it's a form of a blessing from Krishna.
It's a form of a blessing from Krishna. Very good. Any other point?
It has to come from within our heart.
It has to come from within our heart. Very good. Very good, Prabhu. So bhakti, because bhakti is eternal. So anything eternal does not have beginning or end. So it cannot be created. So we cannot create the relationship with Krishna, or we cannot create the divine emotions or spiritual emotions with the Lord. They are eternal. They are already there, but it's covered. So it has to be revived. At the same time, we don't have experience of that in the material world, but through sadhana, it manifests. That's a very important point. Through sadhana, the coverings of the soul gets removed, and the soul comes to its natural constitutional position where the soul is a servant of Krishna, and that's when the relationship starts to begin. So bhakti is eternal. So then one may question, okay, so I'm doing sadhana, which is engaging my material senses and mind to get to spiritual experiences like bhava, where it's a pure love for the Lord. How is that possible? How can my material senses can produce bhava? Well, as Arundhati Mataji said, it is mercy of the Lord, in one sense. Because if the material senses do not help us become spiritual, then we are stuck in this world, isn't it? Because we all have body, so we have gross senses and we have material mind and so on. So we'll be stuck. So this is Lord's costless mercy upon human beings. So the thing about the senses of human being is that the senses have dual function. So they can be used materially and enjoy the gross material things in this world, and that causes bondage in the material world. You can use your senses for that also. So you can use that. Or they can be used spiritually also, and that causes opposite effect. So that's how the material senses are made. So it is a blessing of the Lord. It depends on how you use the senses. So since we all have the false ego, ahankara, we act in anti-Krishna way in the material world with our senses, because we want to enjoy, separate from Krishna, we want to enjoy materially. We are very selfish. Kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, all those things. We want because of false ego, ahankara, because of the ego. So therefore, acharyas and they recommend we need to follow the process of sadhana bhakti that gradually weakens our ego. So that's very important, because sadhana bhakti has to be practiced according to scriptures and according to the acharyas, instructions of acharyas under the Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru. That's when the ego gets weakened. Then, and get the opposite function of the senses. That's how sadhana bhakti leads us forward. So in order for us to follow the process of bhakti, Atma needs to develop the faith. That faith is instilled by the devotees, the Guru. So that faith is called Shraddha. And that makes us little favorable to the Lord. That little faith that comes through devotee, it makes us favorable to Krishna. At that point, we admit the Supreme Lord. We accept the Supreme Lord. Then when Atma develops that little faith, it starts to influence the subtle and gross body a bit. That's when we start to use our senses in the service of the Lord. Until then, we use our senses for our own material enjoyment, gross enjoyments. When Atma develops the faith through the mercy of a devotee, we use our senses in the service of the Lord. It's a very, very important point to understand. So that's why scriptures say faith is the qualification of bhakti. That's when we can plant the seed of bhakti, because our heart becomes fertile ground for bhakti to sprout. So this bhakti grows and manifests bhava later on. So Acharya say the bhava is like a flower. The prema is the fruit of the bhakti plant. So it starts with sadhana, then it grows and it gives flowers and it gives fruit, which is love of God at the perfection stage. In this way, the seed of bhakti is planted in our hearts by the mercy of devotees. So that's why there is a beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Brahmande Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade by Bhakti Lata Bij. By the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Guru, the person receives the seed of the creeper of bhakti. Beautiful. Otherwise, there is no way we can advance. So in this way, the jiva starts to, what happens when that faith is instilled in the jivatma, it starts to chant the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Study the scriptures and follow the instructions of devotees. And this is how we engage the senses in sadhana bhakti. So if we do sadhana bhakti in this way, then we'll make progress towards bhava stage. Another point is that though sadhana bhakti is not very pure in the initial stages, because we are going through anartha nivritti, isn't it? We have baggage of anarthas. We have kama, we have krodh, anger, we have lust, we have hunger, we have lobha, greed, and we have moha, we have illusion, we have mada, we have matsarya, we have envy. So we carry all these things and we practice bhakti also. So if it is practiced within the definition of pure bhakti, then it will lead to bhava and eventually to prema by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So we can achieve the goal by doing sadhana bhakti. So it is like the example given in the scripture is yajna. If you do yajna at home, the fire sacrifice. If you read before the yajna starts, the actual yajna starts, what do? There is something called the purvanga karmas. The purvanga karmas means the preliminary activities we do before the actual fire sacrifice starts. So what is that purvanga karma? We clean out the area first, then we build the yajna kund with bricks, then we purify all this, the entire place, by reciting mantras, then we put the wood in the yajna kund, then we'll lit the fire. So these are preliminary activities of fire sacrifice. So what is the main activity of the yajna? Anybody? What is the main activity?
To praise the demigods.
To pray to demigod, okay, that is one. So what do we do if we do yajna at home?
We offer ghee and other things in the fire.
Fantastic. The main activity is offering the oblation to the main deity. In many cases, it's a Vishnu. Through Agni, we do. Of course, some other deity also, as Mataji said, it's demigods, devatas. So this is yajna proper. Yajna proper is offering the oblation like a ghee, rice, or fruits to Vishnu through Agni. So however, the preliminary activities are important, though you are not offering those activities in the fire. But if you do not do the purvanga karmas, we cannot complete the yajna. So these preliminary activities are inherently related to yajna proper. And therefore, the preliminary activities are also part of yajna. So if you say, I'm doing yajna, you have to do these preliminary activities before you do yajna proper. So I'm giving this example because The same way, even though sadhana bhakti is not pure because our senses are not pure to start with, nevertheless, we include it within the Uttama Bhakti, the definition of Uttama Bhakti, because without sadhana bhakti, we cannot achieve the highest goal, which is prema bhakti. So sadhana bhakti is a preparatory and leads up to the final result. Important point to understand. So sadhana is extremely important. The jiva with prema has only desire for the Lord. When you come to the pure love for Krishna, there is no other desire. There is no desire for anything material enjoyment. You are completely purified and you think about the Lord, and all the desires you have is to please the Lord. That's it. So one who has faith and begins the process of bhakti has a little bhakti, but has lots of material desires. That's how we start. We start bhakti, but we have other desires also. I want house, I want money, I want this, I want that, I want my child to do this, I want my husband to do this, my wife to do it, whatever. We have all kinds of material attachments. But we also practice bhakti along with it, which is okay because that's our duties. So through the practice of sadhana, the person increases his desire to serve the Lord, and his desire to enjoy material things decreases. So that's the measure. Are we progressing in bhakti or not? You do this in this way. A desire to serve the Lord increases and your material enjoyments decreases. So the more the person progresses, the more bhakti and less material desires. This is the measure. But only the perfect stage is prema. So in that stage, there is no material desires at all, as I said. So to get from the beginning stage of sadhana to bhava and then to prema, we have this gradual process where the material desires disappear. And that's the beauty of bhakti. Well, by the time you come to bhava, there is no more material desires for you. And when we come to prema, it's completely purified. Higher stage. So generally, as I said, we cannot go to bhava and prema immediately. Generally, we have to go through sadhana bhakti. But in rare cases, as I said, devotees go to bhava directly also. There are cases where people who are very ignorant, sastric, without any sastric knowledge, become an elevated Vaishnavas. Can anybody give an example from the Shastras who got elevated to a higher stage of bhava?
King
Dhruv
Prabhu,
Maharaj.
Arundhati Mataji, yes.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj, okay, very good, but he did sadhana. But yes,
That's
yes.
yes.
Radha Damodar Prabhu.
King Pradhapritra's son, princess, by the touch of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Well, very good. Good example. Sridevi Mataji, Kannan Prabhu.
Hare Prabhuji.
Mrigari, beautiful example. Classic example. Mrigari. Mrigari chanted he was a hunter. He used to half kill animal and things like that. Because of the kripa, the extraordinary kripa, extraordinary mercy of Narada Muni. He just chanted the holy names and followed the instructions of Narada. That's important. Following the instructions of Guru. Extremely important if you want to advance in bhakti. And within 3 months, he advanced to stage of bhava. This is extremely rare case, but it's extraordinary kripa of a Mahabhagavat devotee. So people can achieve bhava stage quickly. One has bhava, can transfer the bhava to others by association. By the mercy, we can also go to the stage. So, as I defined, sadhana bhakti, that Rupa Goswami defined, is that we do activities in order to come to the level of the love for Krishna, bhava. Because in bhava, one gets a perception of Krishna in bhava stage, meaning one can see Krishna. May not be consistently, but at least you experience him. One gets ecstatic symptoms. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samanvitaha. Buddha bhava. He says the wise who perfectly knows me engages in bhajante mam, my bhakti, my devotional service, and worships me with all their hearts. Buddha bhava samanvitaha. So sadhana is to get to that stage where we get the perception of Krishna actually. So then one may question, what is the difference between bhava and prema? So as I said, bhava is not full development of our relationship with Krishna yet. And that's why bhava bhakti is called prema ankura. Ankura of prema, meaning the sprouting stage of love for Krishna. Love of God, the sprouting stage. In bhava stage, we won't constantly realize Krishna. Also bhava has an obstacle. It has a vigna. What is a vigna? That is, one can fall down from bhava stage due to influence of previous aparadhs. Aparadh means offense committed against the devotee. Because aparadhs can cause disturbance to our bhakti. Very important. You may just cleared all the anarthas and you come to the bhava stage, but still the aparadh that you commit to the Vaishnava just makes you fall down. You descend from bhava to the lower stage. Anarthas that are due to karma are extinguished by the time you achieve the stage of ruchi. You start with ado shraddha, of faith, then you come to sadhu sangha, where you associate with devotees, where you identify your guru. Then you follow the instructions of a guru, instructions of the sastra, then you strictly follow the principles and chant the holy names. You come to bhajana kriya stage. Then when you perfect the bhajana kriya, then you go to anartha nivritti, because if you do chanting properly under the direction of a guru, then anarthas, the unwanted things in your heart clears. And slowly it will clear and you will come to the stage of nishtha. That's where the fixed devotional service starts, fixed bhakti. Until then, you are like flickering, meaning you do service because it makes you, it satisfies your senses. Something disturbs you, then you don't want to do the service, you want to give up. That's not a nishtha stage, that's you are in anartha nivritti bhajana kriya stage. So when you come to the stage of nishtha where nothing disturbs you, you will just fully focus on devotional service, nothing external disturbs you. Then the constant practice of nishtha under the direction of a guru, you come to the stage of ruchi. That's when by mercy of guru, by the mercy of Krishna, you start to develop some taste for the Lord. Then that becomes strong in a Shakti state. It becomes a very strong attachment to Krishna. Then that becomes stronger and stronger, you come to the bhava stage. So that's how you come to the bhava stage. But only in the bhava stage, there is no more anarthas. In the sense, there's no more bad qualities you have. There is no devil inside you. It's all gone, destroyed. But the influence of aparadh continues into bhava. Very important. So that's why if you make a Vaishnava aparadh, you lose taste for your devotional service. You lose taste for your service. Krishna knows. It gives a reaction. So that means aparadh can linger on even in bhava stage. Can anybody give an example of somebody in bhava stage and fell down from that stage because of aparadh from Shastra? Yes, Prabhat Prabhu?
I don't know about the Aparadh Prabhu, but I think Bharat Maharaj, Jat Bharat, he fell down from Bhava state.
I was expecting that example. So I will address that. But good guess, but I will address that. But any other example?
Ravana.
Well, Ravana is a demon, right, Chandra Mataji?
Sorry.
He's very qualified. You are right. He is very qualified, but he is very demoniac. But a good guess. But let me explain this. So there is the example, a classic example given by Acharya, Jiva Goswami, Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur from scriptures is, there's a powerful monkey named Dvivida. Anybody heard about this monkey? Dvivida? No? Okay, you have to read Krishna book. 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, beautiful description of Dvivida monkey, was a friend of Narakatsu. Let me tell you what Dvivida was. Dvivida was an associate of Lord Ramachandra in Treta Yuga. He was a minister for Sugriva. Can you believe it? In Treta Yuga, when Lord appeared as Lord Ramachandra, he was going towards Lanka to save Mother Sita. Then Sugriva was helping, and Dvivida monkey, the Vanara, was one of the ministers of Sugriva. And he did so much service to Lord Ramachandra and building the Ram Setu, the bridge. And he helped Lord Ram and rescue Mother Sita. So he did a fantastic devotional service. And Lord Ram blessed him. So you will live long, however long you want to live. That's why he was just living in Treta Yuga. He was in Dwapara Yuga also. So he was a long life. So he was in a Bhava stage because he was able to realize Lord Ram. He was able to recognize that Lord Ram is the Supreme Lord. And he served him directly, his lotus feet. But because in Dwapara Yuga, he got an association of Narakatsu. Who is Narakatsu?
Rakshasa and son of Bhumata.
Exactly. Very good, Geeta Mataji. Beautiful. He's a demon, son of Bhumi Devi, actually. And because of his association, he became a demon. And Dvivida became a very close friend of Narakatsu, bad association. So then he started to, then after what happened, I'm going to cut short the story. Krishna killed Narakatsu because he kidnapped 16,100 queens, the princesses. And he was doing a lot of atrocities. So Krishna killed him. And that's how Krishna got the 16,100 queens. Princesses he married because they requested him to get married. He gave them the mercy. So he killed Narakatsu. Then the Dvivida monkey got very, very mad, angry. How can Lord Hare, Krishna, kill my friend Narakatsu? So I am going to destroy, I'm going to cause so much disturbance to Krishna. So he has become a rapist. He has become an arsonist. He has become a kidnapper. He caused so much devastation to the province where Krishna was ruling. Think about it. In Treta Yuga, he was serving the Lord Ramachandra. Highest stage of Bhava, because you see the Lord and recognize him as Supreme Lord. That is Bhava. And in Dwapara Yuga, he was completely against the Lord, anti-Krishna. Because of the Acharyas say that why at that stage of Bhava and came down to the most degraded demon, how is that possible for somebody to degrade to that level? Two reasons. The first reason is he committed aparadh to Lord Lakshman in Treta Yuga. Because when they're building the bridge, he used to offend Lakshman. Because this Dvivida monkey was very, very strong. He used to tease Lakshman and he just ridiculed him. So that's the aparadh committed against Mahabhagavat devotee. Lakshman is the expansion of the Lord. And that aparadh had a reaction after many, many, many years. First reason. Second reason is bad association. He was associating with Narakatsu. So these two things made Dvivida monkey descend from Bhava platform to the most degraded consciousness. So that's a classic example of one can descend or one can fall down from Bhava platform. There is another. So Prabhat Prabhu was talking about Bharat Maharaj. That's a good example, but there's another reason for devotees to descend from Bhava platform is by the special will of Krishna. The special will of Krishna either to teach others something or to make Bhava of the devotee very intense. So Krishna makes some situations where the devotees get attracted to something and they descend from Bhava platform to the lower platform. So that is the case of Bharat Maharaj. This is Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur explains that. He fell from the Bhava platform on account of the deer. Only because of Krishna's will, it's not aparadhi committed. Makes sense, Prabhat Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
So therefore the Bhava is different from Prema. So when Bhava develops and develops and develops, it becomes Prema. It becomes a strong love, the consistent, constant love for the Lord. So Prema is the perfect stage of Bhakti. So then Rupa Goswami says that the unique qualities of Bhakti manifest automatically when we practice these three types of Bhakti: Sadhana Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, and Prema Bhakti. So because Krishna says, and then how do we know that we are progressing in our Bhakti sadhana practice? So Rupa Goswami is going to talk about the qualities that we manifest as we practice sadhana bhakti. There's a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. It talks about these qualities manifest automatically. You don't need to cultivate them. It says, Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya I Udaritam Hayituki Havyavayita Ya Bhakti Purushottama. Beautiful verse. It means the characteristics of bhakti, the pristine qualities of bhakti to Purushottama will manifest automatically. It is costless, it's hayutuki, and it cannot be abstracted in any way. Nobody can stop these qualities from manifesting. It is just automatically manifest as we sincerely practice bhakti. So what are these qualities? Rupa Goswami defines it. Prabhu, you want to present that slide? Radha Prabhu? So I'm going to read the Sanskrit. Kleshagni Subhada Moksha Laguta Krit Sudurlabha Sandarananda Visheshatma Shri Krishna Karshini Chasa. So here there are 6 qualities are mentioned in this verse. Okay, of this Kleshagni, Subhada, Moksha Laguta Krit, which is 3rd. 4th is Sudurlabha. 5th is Sandarananda Visheshatma. The 6th is Shri Krishna Karshini. I will explain that. Of these 6, the first 2 will manifest in Sadhana Bhakti stage. If you do sadhana sincerely, then you develop these 2 things. And they continue to manifest in other stages of bhakti as well. Then the next 2, that is Moksha Laguta Krit, Sudurlabha will manifest will make their appearance in the Bhava stage. Then the last 2, that is Sandarananda Visheshatma, Shri Krishna Karshini, will manifest in Prema stage, the pure love stage. So the manifestation of these unique qualities is also the distinguishing factor for the different stages of bhakti. So the manifestation of these qualities, you can see where you are in one sense. So the Bhava has 4 qualities, Sadhana has 2, Bhava has 4 qualities, and Prema Bhakti has 6 qualities in total, and all 6 appearing in the Prema stage. Let's look at that. The first is Kleshagni. Klesha means suffering. Klesha. Klesha Agni means killing of sufferings. It means destruction of suffering. So everyone in this world wants to get rid of sufferings, right? Nobody wants to suffer. So what people do different material processes to accomplish that. Mainly, people of less knowledge, they go for karma kanda activities to get rid of sufferings. Okay, I'll just worship some devatas and get some results and get rid of suffering. That's temporary. To some degree, they may succeed. And if you do karma kanda more, you go to Swarga Loka because you develop Sattva Gun, and that elevates you to Swarga Loka. In Swarga Loka, there is some sort of relative destruction of suffering. Yes. So a little bit, because in the earth you can live for 100 years maximum. When Swarga Loka, you may live for 1,000 years or 5,000 years, like that. So there is a relative destruction of suffering. So then some people will say that, oh, that is also not enough for me. I want to get rid of suffering a little bit more in a broader way. So then they'll aim for moksha, liberation, impersonal liberation. I want to merge with the Brahman. Well, that destroys suffering also, because in moksha, how do we destroy suffering in moksha? Anybody? In impersonal liberation?
We merge with the Paramatma.
We merge with Paramatma, we merge with Brahman, yes. So there is no birth and death. So in that way, you are getting rid of the suffering. If this is the case, then why we say bhakti is unique in getting rid of suffering? Other processes also get rid of suffering to some extent. Then why bhakti is special? So Rupa Goswami explains it so beautifully. So he's very analytical. So he analyzes the suffering in this way. He says there are 3 basic causes of suffering. People suffer because of these 3 causes. The root cause. The first one is avidya, he says. Avidya means ignorance. I'll explain that. Meaning ignorance means ignorance about who we are. We think we are this body. But body is temporary, but we are Atma. And we are ignorant about the Lord. We do not know who the Supreme Lord is and what is our relationship with Him. We want to enjoy for ourselves, separate from Krishna. So all these things comes under avidya. Then this is a second cause for suffering is papa bija, very important. Papa bija means sinful desires stored in our mind. Very important point. What does that mean? That means whatever sinful things we have done in the past that is stored in our mind, and it just keeps coming up in our life. When you go to next life, when you take a next body, these desires are carried over and it's stored in your mind and it start to come again in this life. Very, very dangerous. Papa bija. That's the second reason why one suffers, because these desires are very strong. It comes out and you engage in them, you commit sin, then you suffer also. Then he says third is papa. Papa means reactions. The reactions, the sinful reactions of our previous actions due to our papa bij. Because whenever there is a desire in your heart, you are going to act on it. When you act on it, you get the reaction. So Srila Rupa Goswami says, these are the three reasons why one suffers. Avidya, papa bija, and papa, the reactions. So scriptures use this word papa, sin, to indicate two things. If you read scriptures, one, in some places it is used to indicate sinful actions. Papa means sin, sinful actions. In other places it is used to indicate sinful reactions, meaning you perform the action, the reaction comes. That is also papa. So here Rupa Goswami uses this, one of the causes for suffering papa means sinful reactions. Very important. Then he goes on and explaining that the reactions comes in stages. It starts with aprarabdha. Aprarabdha means you committed sinful action. The reaction is going to come. So it is in the unmanifested form. It is going to come to you and it is getting ready for it. Then the second stage is called kuta. Kuta means tendencies. You start to develop the sinful tendency because of that papa bij, because of your actions you performed. You want to do it. You're waiting for the right time to engage in it. Then the bijam. Bijam means when the tendencies start to develop, then it becomes a desire. It becomes a strong desire to do particular sinful activity. Then prarabdha or phalonmukam, however you want to say, it manifested. In the sense you do the action, then you face the reaction in this life. So here we can see that there's a whole progression of how suffering takes place. We generally think of suffering as pain, either mentally or physically. Mental pain, stress, anxiety, fear, all these things are sort of suffering. Then physically you get diseased and you get different pain and whatever. But it has a chain of causes. That's what Srila Rupa Goswami says. Very important to understand. What is the chain? It starts with ignorance. Then it becomes a papa bija. Sinful desires stored in your heart from the previous life and even in this life. When the desires are stored, papa bija is stored, then you put it in action. You start to act on it. Then when you act on it, it gives you a reaction. So this is the chain. So this reaction manifests as prarabdha, kuta, bijam, aprarabdha, like that. So the prarabdha means we are experiencing the reactions now. So these are the stages in which the suffering takes place. In other words, when we talk about aprarabdha, kutam, bijam, prarabdha, we are talking about inescapable conditions that we are put into due to our past actions. Very important point to understand. Can I interrupt these stages? Can I interrupt these reactions that coming my way because I have done something sinful in the past? Yes, you can interrupt any of these stages. That's the beauty. That's Krishna's costless mercy. So you can eliminate any of these stages and get some result. If you get rid of the immediate result, that's what we do in prayachitta. You go for atonement, you go to astrologer, they look at your karma, they tell you, okay, do this, do that. And so you can minimize the reaction. So yeah, that is one way of doing it, but it's not a permanent solution. but it doesn't get rid of the desire to commit sin again. In the sense, the Papa Bija doesn't go away. It's still there. Huh? So it is more wise to get rid of sinful desires completely. And the Papa Bija, you have to eradicate it. That is what Jnana Yoga does. It tries to get rid of all the desires, sinful desires, so we won't suffer. That is mukti. That's liberation. Huh? So what is the problem? Why not we do Jnana Yoga? Why do we have to do Bhakti? Bhakti does more than Jnana Yoga. How? In Jnana, if you get the liberation, the ignorance is not completely removed. Then people say, okay, how come ignorance is not completely removed? Avidya. Yes, through Jnana Yoga, we can understand that we are not this body, we are Atma, so I should not have material desires. So those Jnana Yogis, they get rid of the negative aspect. And they get rid of the material identity completely. Huh? But avidya is not completely removed, because we learn from Srimad Bhagavatam, the real ignorance is the ignorance of God, ignorance of Krishna. This is how Bhagavatam says the real ignorance is. There are many aspects to ignorance, but the most important aspect is our ignorance of Krishna. So that aspect of ignorance, even the Jnana Yogis or Mayavadis cannot get rid of. By merging with the Brahman, you cannot get rid of that ignorance, because you have not recognized the Supreme Lord yet. So they don't get the positive identity of accepting the Lord. Huh? They remove the negative identity, the negative aspect. But there's no positive identity yet. So therefore, their ignorance is not completely removed. So they fall down again. So achieving impersonal liberation is also a temporary solution. That's the point I'm making. So the destruction of suffering is not complete even in impersonal liberation. In Bhakti, all stages of sufferings are wiped out, because it's a Lord's promise, and it's said in Shastras. The prarabdha, the immediate suffering, and then the bija, the kuta, the aprarabdha, all are removed gradually. Padma Puran confirms this. It says, aprarabdha phalam papam kutam bijam phalonmukam kramenaiva praliyate Vishnu bhakti ratatmanam. Those engaged in Vishnu bhakti, step by step, kramenaiva praliyate. The prarabdha, kutam, the tendency to commit sin, the seed form, the desire in the seed form, bija, the prarabdha karmas are completely destroyed. Huh? That's the beauty of bhakti. In fact, Parikshit Maharaja asked this question to Sukadeva Goswami in Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's in 6th canto. He said, how can one completely free from sinful reactions and sinful tendencies in this life? Not only reactions you can do prayachit. Temporary atonement you can do, and you can minimize it. But how can I remove the desire, papa bija, and all these things? Sukadeva Goswami gave a beautiful answer. He said, Kechet kevalya bhaktya vasudeva parayanaha agam dunvanti katsena neharam eva bhaskara. Beautiful verse. It says, I'm paraphrasing the translation, the unalloyed devotional service to the Lord, Krishna, can uproot the weeds of sinful actions with no possibility that they will survive. This is a proof that bhakti just uproots the desires completely from the heart. Huh? Krishna also confirms this in Bhagavad Gita. Anybody knows the verse? Where he says, I will destroy all the karma. Famous sloka.
Sarva dharman parityajya.
Beautiful. Very good, Gita Mataji. You want to complete the sloka?
Yes, Prabhu. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami masuchaha.
Masuchaha. Fantastic. Abandon all varieties of religion. Just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Huh? What else we want? Sarva papebhyo. Any kind of papa you have, I will remove it. Do not fear. So not only the karmas are removed, even avidya is removed by the bhakti process, because jnana yoga cannot remove the avidya, but bhakti removes avidya, because bhakti purifies the heart. What is the verse Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita? A beautiful sloka which says, he says that I remove the avidya from your heart.
Tesham Evena Kampartam.
Fantastic. Tesam eva anukampartam aham ajnanajam tamaha. Nashami atma bhavashto jnana deepena bhashvata. Beautifully, out of compassion for my devotees. I, dwelling in their hearts as Paramatma, destroy with shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Ajnanajam tamaha. Beautifully, isn't it? Atma bhavashto. So this is the proof that bhakti removes the ignorance to the fullest extent. Huh? And this is another important distinguishing factor of bhakti from other processes, because avidya is fully removed only in bhakti process. These are the proofs. I mean, there are so many, but in the interest of time, I want to just quote these verses. Then people, many people say this, especially smartas, that nothing can eliminate prarabdha karma completely. People say this, smartas especially say this, because they say the body that we got is due to prarabdha karma. Yes, that is correct. Some people are very intelligent, some people are very beautiful, some people are very rich or whatever, some people are very tall and short, and different dimensions to the body. Well, that's due to our karma, prarabdha karma. So their argument is, if we eliminate prarabdha karma, that means we should lose our body. If bhakti is going to eliminate all the karmas, then we should lose our body. So then how can we say bhakti destroys prarabdha karma completely? Very logical question. But Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas gives answer. They say bhakti removes prarabdha karma also. So how to understand this? The answer is Acharyas say, the comment that for the devotees at certain stage after purification, even though we have body, it does not mean it is karma. In other words, we have attained the Jivan Mukta state. It means one, maybe in the material body, they have a material eyes, material senses. It appears they have all those things, but he is not subjected to karma. Very important point. His body may be the result of previous karmas, but due to his bhakti practice, due to his pure bhakti practice, his previous karmas are wiped out and he is living on the mercy of Krishna at that point, not on karma. Very, very important. His life is not determined by karma. It's determined by Krishna. Krishna just leads them step by step. This karma cannot do anything at that point. That's the answer. So that's why Srimad Bhagavatam says the beautiful verse, we talked about it. Chanting the holy name purely, once the Chandalas can surpass the Brahmana, right? Aho batasva pako, ato gariyan yet jivagre vartate namatubhyam. Just by chanting, the Chandala can surpass the Brahmanas. One is Chandala because of his previous karma. Chandala means a dog eater. When he surpasses the Brahmana, that means his karma has been completely wiped out. So he can do anything the Brahmana can do and more. And that means his prarabdha karma is removed just by chanting the holy names of the Lord purely. Therefore, this is a proof that bhakti removes prarabdha karma. Pure chanting means one chants with full faith and without ignorance. That means we have sambandha gyan. We talked about sambandha yesterday. And we know who is Krishna, what is material energy, who we are. We know the process of bhakti. And we are relatively free of anarthas, and we are devoid of material desires. This is Suddha Nam. This is pure chanting. So when we chant, our karmas will be removed gradually. That's what Padma Purana says. Kramenaiva praliyate. So people expect sometimes, I accepted bhakti process. I accepted this Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. I accepted the process of bhakti. I'm chanting. How come I still have some sufferings and this and that? So the answer is our karmas will be removed gradually, depending on the quality of our bhakti. So, kramenaiva praliyate. Destruction of karma is gradual, step by step. So we begin the process and chant. Bit by bit, our karmas begin to disappear. And that continues all the way to the end of sadhana bhakti. And by the end of sadhana bhakti, the karmas are all gone. Then we get bhava. And eventually to prema by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So the analogy given in the scriptures for this is the gradual purification of karma is piercing the 1,000 lotus leaves. You take a needle, you make a pile of lotus leaves, and you take a sharp needle and you pierce them. What happens? The needle goes through one leaf and to the next leaf and to the next leaf and so on. So similarly, our purification of our karma, purification of our heart by bhakti happens one after the other, not all at once. So that is Kleshagni. In the interest of time, I want to move fast. Then the second quality that manifests in sadhana stage is Subhada. Subhada means all auspiciousness. So this quality is related to the first quality. The first quality removes all bad things, Kleshagni, such as our desire to not serve Krishna, desire to enjoy independent of Krishna, etc. The second quality, Subhada, bestows all good things, such as acceptance of Krishna, acceptance of bhakti process, desire to serve Krishna more. All those things start to manifest. That is Subhada. So accepting Krishna means the soul gets to manifest its true qualities in relation to Krishna. We may theoretically accept, but here in this case, it is accepting intellectually and emotionally also. And you realize you accept the Lord, and you keep him as the goal of your life. That is Subhada. So that is possible only by bhakti. In Jnana Yoga, they are focused on getting rid of bad qualities, but bhakti removes bad qualities and manifests good qualities in devotees. It does both, positive and negative. Why is that? Because Krishna has all good qualities. So when we serve him, our soul will develop similar qualities of Krishna. So one thing we need to understand is that the good qualities are not like external qualities that we cultivate through practice of morality or ethics, or how to control my anger. We take anger management classes. Those are like cultivating through some external tools and things like that. That's not what we're talking about. These qualities are manifested naturally from the soul. That's the beauty of Subhada. When you practice bhakti, these qualities, you don't need to have any external help. Bhakti removes it automatically and you'll have control. And these qualities are not cultivated independent of bhakti. It comes with bhakti. It's a byproduct of bhakti. That is Subhada. Then Rupa Goswami gives 4 different types of Subhada will start to manifest in our life. The first one he said is Jagat Prinan. Jagat Prinan means affectionate towards all living entities. Meaning, we'll be very selfless. We won't just think about only me, mine, I, and all the stuff. Anything connected to my body, and that's all I care about, and that's all I do. I do whatever I do is something is in return I need. Those kind of things will go away. You are affectionate towards all living entities genuinely, without anything in return, expecting anything in return. That the true compassion start to manifest in our hearts. We develop genuine concern for all living entities. Some people say this may look like a humanitarian or sattvic at the material level. But the affection for all living entities manifests simply as a result of our worship of the Lord. That's what it is. That's the differentiation. Because Krishna is all compassionate. He is compassionate to all jivas. And we worship the Lord. So we also develop the compassion for everyone, not just only my family, my friend, my country, my state, whatever, my caste. All those designations goes away. You will have big heart. That happens. Subhada. Then Jagatam Anurakta. Yeah, Jagatam Anurakta. Second quality is you become attractive to everybody, attractive to all living entities. It's interesting. The devotee becomes very attractive and others will give proper respect. It comes automatically. You don't need to develop it. This happens because the devotee develops spiritually and he becomes attractive to other jivas because the bhakti that they carry in their heart. Even the animals will respect the devotees. Classic example. Can anybody give a classic example where animals respect the devotee, pure devotees. I don't know who SK is. Your question? Amrita Mataji?
The example of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu doing kirtan with animals in the forest.
Beautiful, beautiful example. Thank you very much, Amit Prabhu, for sharing that. When Lord Chaitanya was going through the Jarikhand forest, right, all the animals got excited and started to respect Mahaprabhu. So this happens to devotees as well. Even humans who have some spiritual nature also give respect to advanced devotees. Very important. So that start to manifest as we advance in our sadhana bhakti. Then the third is sadguna. Sadguna, it means good qualities. That is, devotees automatically develop good qualities. So then people ask, okay, even the materialist or even the atheist, they have good qualities. So how is it different? So people sometimes cultivate good qualities artificially for some selfish reasons also. But here the good qualities are automatically developed in devotees. The soul is developing these qualities naturally by the mercy of the Lord. Here devotee will not have any selfish motivation. This is the soul is developing it. It's not a mind and intellectual level you develop. The soul is developing it, so it's permanent. It's sadguna. Then the fourth thing happens at the sadhana bhakti stage is happiness, sukha. You become inherently happy. It means devotees develop some sort of spiritual happiness through the performance of sadhana bhakti. It is bhakti sukha. But this happiness is not ananda. Ananda is bliss. You get that in bhava and it becomes complete in prema. Because at the sadhana stage, we are not fully purified yet, but we get some kind of happiness. I'll compare this happiness to some kind of a satisfaction of the heart, some kind of shelter you feel. Your heart is sheltered heart at this point. You feel the presence of the Lord. You feel the presence of the devotees in your life. Your fear goes away. Anxiety goes away. You get the clarity of thoughts, clarity in life. You get guidance. You feel you are guided. So this kind of a happiness, what's sukha. Soul gets some satisfaction through the practice of bhakti. And another important point in this stage is the soul loses the tendency to strive for material enjoyment. That goes away slowly. That's the beauty of this happiness. Yes, I mean, of course, we will work, we'll get money, and we do whatever is needed to have a comfortable life. But we won't over-endeavor. We won't overly strive for material enjoyment because we are very satisfied with doing bhakti. This comes the sadhana stage. As we do sadhana carefully and sincerely under the guidance of a senior devotee, then these are the things will start to manifest. Another important point to note here is that these qualities like Kleshagni and Subhada manifest in the sadhana stage. Why? It is to encourage us and to increase our faith in bhakti process. This is a Lord's causeless mercy. We are not purified yet, but these qualities will start to manifest. Think about this for a second. When we follow any process, even at work or in your life or whatever, we should get some result when we started. If we get some result only at the end, it may be discouraging for us. So Krishna knows that human tendency. So I'll give an example. If after 5 lifetimes, we get some result for what you are doing in this lifetime, then not many people will be interested in doing it. Oh, I'm going to get the result after 5 lifetimes. It's a too long time for me to wait. If we have to wait that long, we have to have a lot of faith to continue the process in that case. So therefore, Krishna manifests some results along the way for bhakti. It's a costless mercy. So in sadhana bhakti, we get some results, and these results are not final in relation to our material condition, but it's a clearing out our ignorance, karma, all those stuff, and manifesting some good qualities of the soul, even though one may be in the beginning stages of bhakti. This is to encourage us to continue the process. Okay, so we are at 6:31. Should I continue for 10 more minutes? And Vinamati?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Then, so now we covered only two qualities. So what are the two qualities we covered so far? From the verse here, displayed in the screen. Anyone?
Kleshagni and
Klesha and Shobhita.
Very good. Kleshagni and Subhada. Now, Moksha Laguta Krit. Okay, this start to manifest in Bhava stage. The next two. So, Moksha Laguta Krit, it means disinterest or disregard for liberation. Simply put. In Varnashrama system, if you follow Varnashrama, it is moksha is at the top, meaning you do dharma so that you can get artha. Artha means you do religious things and you do properly according to scriptures. You get money, you get health, so you can enjoy your kama. So dharma, artha, kama means desires. So after you exhaust all these three things, then you look for moksha. So the top of Varnashrama is moksha. In terms of gradual spiritual elevation within Varnashrama, one becomes completely renounced to attain moksha. This is a liberation from the material world. And this is what the jnanis and yogis strive for. But if one achieves bhava, then the liberation is not goal at all. That's what this quality is saying. Moksha laguta krit. I don't have any regard for liberation. That means the bliss, the happiness that comes from the stage of bhava is much greater than the bliss of liberation. The bliss of liberation is like a drop of water in the desert compared to the ocean of bhakti. That's because why? In the bhava stage, one gets the experience of Krishna. One may see Krishna also temporarily. They start to feel the separation from the Lord. You get the experience of Krishna. Nothing is important. Nothing is more important to them, even if it is temporary. So that experience of Krishna is enough to give us the realization that moksha without Krishna is useless or meaningless. That's the stage of moksha laguta krit. That's why devotees pray that they're ready to go to hell even as long as they can serve the Lord birth after birth. So this is very unique to bhakti only, because other processes strive for liberation. So then the fourth quality is sudurlabha. So sudurlabha, it means very rarely attained. He said the bhava stage is very rarely attained. Why is that? Krishna says, let us see. Krishna says this in Bhagavad Gita. He says, out of thousands of people, hardly one knows me in truth. Which verse is that?
Manushyanam Sahasreshu.
Well, very good. Manushyanam Sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam hapi siddhanam kaschid mam viti tattvataha. Thousands of people are there. Billions of people. But hardly one knows me in truth. Well, at the same time in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this bhakti process is open to everyone. Anybody can practice bhakti. So then it appears to be contradictory, because bhakti is available for everyone, meaning yoga dharma of chanting is for everyone. Mahaprabhu gave it to everybody. But here, Sudurlabha means it is rarely achieved. So how to understand this? We can understand this in two ways. One is to take up bhakti process is very rare. Think about just, like millions of people in Austin, but how many people are practicing bhakti? Bhagavad Gita is available, Srimad Bhagavatam is available, devotees are there, temples are there, preaching. How many people take up bhakti? Because one has to have qualification for that. The qualification is faith. So one goes from a plant species. Sometimes because of a karma, we take a birth as a grass or a plant. So one goes from plant species to animal species to human species. And within human species, one goes from lower human species to civilized human species. And then practice varnashrama. You have to come to varnashrama, you have to go through all these things. And then become brahmanical. And after going through all of this, finally you realize that higher than all of this is to worship the Lord with the devotion. Vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Krishna says, come to the stage of accepting Vasudeva is everything for me. Sarvamiti. It takes bahunam janmanam ante, many lifetimes. In that way, it is so durlabha, rarely achieved. The other way is not go through the lengthy process at all, but simply to get the mercy of a pure devotee somewhere along the way and take up the bhakti process. This is also very rare. Because though the mercy of the devotee is there, but not everyone will accept the mercy. Because they don't have enough agnata sukriti to develop faith in the process of bhakti. In the faith in the devotee. So it is rare in that sense. Even devatas, if you go to Swargaloka or higher planetary system, not all devatas practice pure bhakti. Sakama bhakti they practice. They are mixed bhakti. If you have mixed bhakti, then you cannot go through the stages of sadhana, bhava, and prema. Why? Because Krishna will not reveal himself if you have mixed bhakti. Even for sadhana bhaktas, coming to the stage of bhava is rare. Why? Because to transition from sadhana bhakti to bhava bhakti, one has to go through the process of shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti, nishta, ruchi, ashakti, bhava, then comes to prema. So it's not automatic. We transition to bhava from sadhana. So ultimately, to get to bhava, one has to have ruchi, meaning the taste for the Lord. And when the taste becomes more intense, one comes to ashakti, then one comes to bhava. So without the taste for Krishna or Vishnu, then you cannot get to the bhava. So it is not a mechanical process. So in that way, it is difficult to achieve. One has to have a taste for Krishna to get to bhava. Why it is like this? It's because Krishna does not want to give himself. Because when you come to bhava, you control the Lord completely. Therefore, he is very careful about who gets to bhava. If one does have sincere desire for the Lord and manifest more and more of the desire to serve him and serves him sincerely with all their hearts, then Krishna's heart also melts. It melts. That is the stage of ruchi where we have developed taste or strong longing for Krishna. You start to miss him. Then Krishna reveals himself to the devotees. That's the stage of bhava. Bhava is very, very rare stage, though it is not complete realization of Krishna. In bhava, we realize Krishna temporarily. But one goes from bhava to prema. Prema is nothing but intensification of bhava. I'm going to put it like that. So bhava means we have emotional attachment to Krishna and it becomes very intense in prema. As a result of that, any impediments or any obstacles, any influence of aparat are completely destroyed. That is the stage we come to. That is a fifth quality, Sandarananda Visheshatma. That quality you start to manifest in prema, the fifth quality. What is Sandarananda Visheshatma? It means condensed bliss. Sandarananda means condensed. Sandara means condensed. So one experiences condensed bliss because Krishna's Samvit Shakti and Ladini Shakti of the Supreme Lord manifest in Jiva. So we can experience that bliss and have a realization of Krishna also. You can see Krishna constantly, not just comes and goes in bhava stage. At this point, Jiva can see Krishna constantly, associate with him, also experience the bliss. And these things begins to manifest in bhava stage, but it becomes sandara, condensed in prema. Okay, so that's a fifth quality. Then in sixth quality it says Krishna Karshini, Krishna Akarshini. It means it attracts Krishna, the beautiful quality. In the stage of prema, the Lord himself surrenders to the devotee. Can anybody give an example from Shastra where the Lord surrenders to his devotees?
Srimati Radharani.
Srimati Radharani, beautiful example. Very good. Anything else? Any
Yashoda.
Mother Yashoda, very good.
Sudama.
Sudama, yes.
Bhishma Pitama.
Bhishma, well, yeah, yes or no? Yes. Bhishma
Arjun.
also. Arjun, beautiful example. Very, very beautiful example. So Krishna becoming a chariot driver for Arjuna. Think about it. This is prema. Is Krishna Karshini. Krishna gets attracted to his devotee. He cannot miss them. He cannot miss them. I mean, meaning he wants to be with them always. Another example, Krishna becoming servant of Radharani. She is the ultimate devotee. So Krishna serves her lotus feet in full surrender. Huh? Krishna is all attractive, but he gets attracted to his pure devotees. So it appears that he lost his independence. He gives up his independence to his devotees. I mean, let's take Ambrish Maharaj. Example of Ambrish. When Durvasa was chased by Sudarshan Chakra, where did Durvasa go? He went to Vaikuntha Loka, to Vishnu, and asked him, my dear Vishnu, please stop the chakra, it's going to kill me. You know what Vishnu said? I don't have the power to stop it. Only Ambrish has the power to stop. So go to Ambrish, approach Ambrish Maharaj. So here the Lord has given up the complete power to control his own chakra to his devotees. So this level of dependence of the Lord on his devotees will not manifest in any other processes of self-realization. So the Krishna Karshini is the supreme quality of bhakti, the most remarkable quality of the Lord due to his loving nature for his devotee. Huh? So 643, I'm going to complete here. So these are the 6 outstanding qualities of bhakti. So in prema, all these 6 qualities are fully manifest. In other words, in prema, there is complete destruction of klesha, complete manifestation of all good qualities, complete experience of all bliss, and moksha is disregarded. That's the outstanding quality of prema. Okay. So with that, I'm going to conclude here. I know I wanted to take questions. So I will work with Veera Mataji and we can find time to have just a Q&A on these 2 sessions. So this is just a glimpse into Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but we can discuss other aspects of this book later on. So with that, I will stop here. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.